Hey all, Avros here, back with the next Lufenia fight as part of the currently running Lost Chapter for 9. This fight is against the ESP Doll and two Mini ESP Dolls, which happen to have the orb in this fight instead of the main boss. So all three in this fight are weak to wind and dark elemental damage, and if you try and use any other element against them, they will counter with an attack that cleanses all debuffs and dispels all of your buffs. This counter also occurs if you try and get around this with something like Edward's Lullaby, Agrias Silence, or try and confuse them using someone like Porom or Mog. With these weaknesses in mind, now's a good time to bring up the Lufenia orbs on the Mini ESP Dolls. They will appear when the ESP Doll hits 79% HP, and will appear with a count of 10, and will stick around for the rest of the fight until it ends, and these orbs can be increased via elemental weakness damage, which will add 2 to their counts. The boss will also have a 20% HP reduction while both of the Mini ESP Dolls are alive. This one can be removed by killing one of the two dolls, as killing both of them will cause the boss to enrage. It doesn't get the 20% HP damage reduction back, but it does make it more risky to endure attacks from. It also heavily resists all magic attacks, is immune to the lock debuff, HP attack disable debuff, and Terra and paralysis debuffs. This doesn't leave many options for controlling how the boss can attack and what you can actually do in this fight, but there is a viable strategy to do this, and that is via delay. So it was to that end that I went with the team that I'm using for this fight, consisting of Garland, Terra, and Aranea. This team was designed to make sure the boss got 0 turns throughout the fight, and did this spectacularly. This can be achieved by using delay/damage increasing calls. In my case I used Jack and Gabranth, and this will ensure turns for the whole party ahead of the bosses at the start of the fight, and then you can set up Fujin's call on Garland and use his burst attack. During the burst phase I recommend that you use the attacks in this order, which is to use his LD, his skill 1 which is round edge, EX, and then skill 2 and skill 1 in that order to maximize the delay on the ESP Doll, setting up for plenty of room for your turns before the bosses get a chance to act. After all this was done, I switched out Aranea to replace her with a friend Yang, whose LD effect I got up, but made sure to do this after I had Aranea put up Vital Crusher on the ESP Doll to maximize my damage. This will allow for Yang to do his follow-up attacks with that Fujin enchant of wind damage to keep the orbs up on both the Mini ESP Dolls. Once this is all set up, you can then proceed to use Terra's LD to get your 4 consecutive free turns and spam Meteor on the ESP Doll. Each time the LD buff runs out, you'll want to redo this and keep using Meteor, as this will get the boss close to dead, if not dead entirely, before your buffer of turns you have runs out and the bosses get a chance to act. If you find yourself getting close to running out of turns before the bosses are dead, then you can use your summon, which should be set to either Diabolos or Pandemonium, to get a few more turns and make sure that this fight is all over. If you are using this party though, I'd recommend bringing Diabolos as your summon, as you won't launch often enough throughout the fight to make the most of Pandemonium's summon blessing. This is a strategy for success with this team that I managed to pull off on my first attempt after getting this team all set up, when I saw that this was a team suggested for people to use on the Japanese servers when this fight first happened. So if you are having any troubles with this fight, I would recommend trying to emulate what this team does, Terra being your best option as a speedster unit, as she doesn't deal any other types of elemental damage, so no risk of having the boss counter like if you do someone like Lightning, and also can generate her own turns automatically via that LD buff, allowing you to maximize the number of turns where you don't have to reapply Yang's LD buff and make the most of his follow-up attacks. They're hitting everything. On that note though, thank you for watching, and if you do have any further questions or need further assistance with this fight, please feel free to ask down below in the comments, and enjoy the rest of the video.
注いで。
おいど
お願い、力を貸して。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
魔導よ、この豪華で。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
お願い、力を貸して。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど
魔導よ、この豪華で。
おいど
油断した。見切った。
おいど
魔導の刃よ。
おいど耐えてみろ。まだ終わらんぞ。おいど連続で行く。遅い。おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど楽しませてみせろ。まだ終わらんぞ。おいど連続で行く。遅い。
やってみせる。
叩き潰してやろう。おいど
魔導よ、降り注いで。
おいど楽しませてみせろ。まだ終わらんぞ。おいど連続で行く。遅い。
魔導の刃よ。
叩き潰してやろう。おいだ。
もう終業。